I'd like to kick off with a conversation around, so I'll give you that one, great, thank you, around search. Can we bring it up, please? Thank you. Having been involved in the industry for nearly 25 years, okay, I thought it'd be good to talk about how I see search going. I won't be right. I might be partially right, but it's just a view on what I think is going to happen to the evolution of searching for property and how that could then impact proptech businesses. But you've got to start with where we are today, and the reality is nothing much has changed in the last 20 years. Scarily enough, that is Rightmove in 2010 and Rightmove today. Not a lot of thought's gone into actually how you interact with the business, right? And if anyone's ever used Rightmove, they still have this crazy intermediary page in the search. You put this in here, it then pushes you to a filter page, and then you end up on the listings result. Has not changed in 2 decades. Okay? Crazy as it sounds, everyone else is still fundamentally location-based in their search. REA, Scout24, although we'll talk a bit about how they've got this little button on there at the moment, allows you to do some free-form search. Zillow and Property Guru. Nothing has changed. It says, give me the suburb that you want to search in. Fantastic if you know the suburb you want to search in. If you don't quite know, you've got a slight problem, right? So you better have done your research first. But nothing's changed in that period of time. And what's interesting, if you look at revenues, so I've got Rightmove revenues and realestate.com.au revenues, so the Australian revenues of the REA group. And it's coming from core revenues from the agents and developers and non-traditional revenues for our streams. And what's interesting is 90% of revenues are still coming from the core streams. It's not like they've diversified. They've talked about doing lots of things and so on, but it hasn't really changed. And same with REA. Still reliant on the same customers for the same revenues from fundamentally the same products. And market leadership hasn't changed. 2020 years. Rightmove, REA, Scout24, and so on. Just the logos. Okay? And even Idealista hasn't really done a lot of work on the logo in that period of time. Okay? So nothing's changed. Why? Well, you've educated the audience. You've established the position. It's a settled business model. The agents and developers don't actually have a lot of choice, so why change? You've locked them in. You've created the place to go. The market's consolidated. You think about the United Kingdom back in 2003, there was prime location property, finder property, up my street, down my street. There's a whole bunch of these things, right? They became Zoopla. Okay? So everything's consolidated. In Australia, there was property.com.au, there's Real Estate View, there was a bunch of others that came and went or got bought up. So the leaders have just exercised their financial power, taken control, consolidated, don't have to change too much, making a lot of money. Revenue growth is driven by putting the price up. In general, it's just putting the price up. Yeah, I might create a bigger ad at the top, but it's the same pixel, they're just selling it at a higher price. And customers often, value lead volume rather than quality. So even the agents, the people who are advertising, going, how many leads did I get? Not how many converted, what was the quality, and so on. So why upset the status quo? If you're Rightmove, you're REA, you're Scout24, and so on, you're printing money. It's not that hard. Life's cool. However, the market's actually changing. So younger audience. So this is coming out of the Oracle Group, a YouGov survey from July last year. Younger audiences trust portals less. So the one on your the left-hand side, portals are the most trusted source of real estate information. If you're old, like most of us, 40-odd% plus, we believe what the portals say. Younger guys, bullshit, 28%. Okay, it's changing, and they're going, whose views do you trust most? Older people, okay, Other people's views are the most, they don't want to hear from other people. But if you're in the younger age group, they want to hear from their peers. Who should I be talking to? The referral network, the voice network. The audience is changing. Plus, where you find listings has changed. Go back 20 years, you had to go to REA, you had to go to Domain, that's where you found the listings. Some of them appeared in the newspaper, but that was it. And there might have been a very crappy agent site or a site out there. Now, the agent and developer sites are super sophisticated. You're going to find the same listing on social media, thanks to the efforts of Flow and Co. Okay? And of course, the Machulas and the Trovits have gone out there, aggregated listings, so you can find them there as well. So the listings are actually everywhere. Okay? So portals don't dominate the situation. And advertisers are expecting more from their spend. So this is Rightmove. The way to read the chart, left-hand side. This is the growth in the ARPA, and then we won't debate, Jonathan, about the actual measurement here, but it doesn't matter. It's still a growth, right? 132% growth in ARPA between 2013 and 2023. So decade, 132% growth. But the number of leads per agent only went up 70%, so I'm now paying more per lead than I was before. And they're capturing more of the agent's commission over time. Point is, they're going to expect more and more from the portal over time, and the portal's got to deliver more than just the volume of leads. And of course, no presentation would be complete without saying AI a few times. AI is actually starting to educate us to think differently how we search. We can debate whether we will search that way in the future, but we're thinking differently. We're learning to write queries in a way that gets the most out of the AI engine. No different to Google. Google is a very basic form. If you think about it, you just write a string of what I'm looking for. The AI engines are now teaching us to engage in a different way. And it's not going to get less, it is going to get more. How much more? I don't know, but it is going to impact on how we think about search. And of course, the next generation are going to do it differently to the way us more elderly people think about it. I've always got to keep that in mind. So what can you do if you're a marketplace? 4 choices, of course. There's always 4 or 3, right? 1, business as usual. Just keep jacking up your prices. Few new ad products. Buy more traffic. Don't worry. Life's going to keep going in the right direction. You could argue Rightmove does that. Okay? And what they're sitting on is, my brand is strong. Nothing's going to change. And the power of my brand is going to make the difference. You can consolidate, just keep buying the competitors, extract more value, but it's business as usual. Vertically integrate, and we've talked about portals doing this, going into mortgages, CRMs, transactions. But see the previous chart where you had the amount of money coming from non-traditional core revenue. It doesn't really move the needle. If it doesn't move the needle, eventually you're going to go, you know what? We've made a lot of money from what we know how to do. We'll continue to make money from that. Look at Google search. Google's main revenue source continues to be the product it launched 20 odd years ago, however long ago it was. Or you can deliver greater value to the users, which you've probably got to do anyway. So I'm going to focus on that one. Okay? So the way I think about the path for innovation is from search to tell. And let me explain it. Search is basically show me all the listings in an area and leave it to me. Just give me a long list and I am going to walk through that list, check out the properties I like. Hopefully you'll tell me which ones I've already looked at so I don't look at the property again, but I do the work. Personalized is about saying, well, I know something about Stephen here. I'm actually going to show him things that I think are the most important to him first, and then I'll show the other ones around. Discover is saying, well, what can I show Stephen that he doesn't know about, his blind spots? Okay? What does he need? He needs a playground, he needs a park for the dog or whatever, school's nearby, 20 minutes from my office. Well, I know what I know, and I may be even brought up in the eastern suburbs or whatever, but maybe there's a great place coming up in the western suburbs I've never heard of that meets the same criteria. And tell is, You know what? I'm time poor. Just tell me the three. You know everything about me. Just tell me so I can get on with it. Because I don't want to spend my time searching through all the dross. I want to know it's available. I can buy it in my time frame, and I can move in and it meets my requirements. Give me the three. I'll search the three. Thanks very much. Okay? I believe that's going to be the evolution over time. Okay? And, you know, the whole point is you have to be the most relevant and trusted source of listings for consumers and produce more and highly convertible leads for the advertisers. And it's that balancing act, right? Balancing act between an advertiser wants to promote to the broadest market possible, the consumer wants to look at the relatively narrow market. Relatively narrow. Of course, every consumer is different. Some of you may want to just tire kick, have a look around, spend a while. But a lot of people don't actually want to invest the time. So let's have a look at these. So search. So you've got to allow, so how can you innovate around the basic search? And I want to do, from now on, I just want to show you examples of what people are doing. Okay? One is you want to allow more searching around a specific location, school catchment areas, train stations, relevant points of interest. Allow the consumers to draw their own searches, you know, nice little polygons of some sorts or free-form drawing. Allow the consumers to develop their own search requests. Okay? Increase the filtering options and have just better listing presentation. All of that is just innovation around the current way you do business. Not too hard, but it gives the consumer more choice in how they interact with you, rather than shoving them in that one pipe and you must do it the way I tell you to do it. Okay? We all know some of this stuff. Here's an example of Foxtons. It's just school catchment area. Tell me, you know, this is the school I want my kids to go to. What are all the homes that are in that school catchment area? Okay, there we go. It's in that little circle. Okay, and there are like, I don't know, how many different areas that you can search. That's an example from Foxtons. Here's an example out of Property Guru. Search by metro stop, especially in places where you've got long commutes. Think of Tokyo, for example. You know, you have to think about life through a different lens. I want to be near this metro stop because that's where my office is. Well, sorry, this metro line, because my office is on one of the stops on that line. So it's easy to get to and from the office. Here's another example from ImmoWeb. Okay, free-form search. We've seen this on a number of sites. It's been around for at least a decade, but not all sites do it. Okay? Just because it exists doesn't mean they do it in the process. We're starting to see some free-form-based search coming up. Here's an example from 99 Acres. You're putting in here farmhouse in Punjab below 1 crore, and that will then start to bring out the results. You're seeing that on, I think it was Malcolm. You had that for Scout 24. But what they're really doing is taking that, they're trying to interpret it and shove it into the filters to then pop out a filtered-based search at the other end, which is different to, here's an example from a company called Bell out of Brazil, I think it is, and they're basically trying to go even further into natural language search to allow you to put in anything. You want a wooded district, ocean view, lowest price per square meter. I don't know what your criteria is. We've got 150 odd people in the room. I'm sure there's about 150 different criterias and ways we would want to search. So how do I take that and allow the engine to do its magic to give me what I want, which will be different from what Stephen wants, different from what Malcolm wants, and so on. Here's an example of what One Home does with image-based search. Oh, I like the look of that house. Show me all the other houses that look like that house in an area. Image-based search, you upload an image, 8 matches of houses that all look the same, because I like the look, the feel, the style, whatever it is. Okay? Different way of thinking about search. Try shoving that into Rightmove. It's not going to work. Okay? Luckily, all houses in England look the same anyway. Sorry, Jonathan. Okay, and then you've got AI-generated descriptions to increase engagement. Okay, and we saw from Embrace yesterday about this. But here's an example from another company called List Assist. Querying the image and pulling out all the data. Much better fielding of data. Because if the old school, if the agent doesn't upload the fact that there's a wooden fire, a log fire in there and a nice couch and whatever, then no amount of searching on the planet's going to find it. Okay? Because the agent hadn't done it. Let the technology do it. AI is here as your friend. From that, it builds a main description, and more importantly, it's now building social media descriptions. Because remember, people are searching off-site. Got to engage them more and more over time. So there are so many ways you can innovate just around that basic search, but nothing's changed. It's still location-based search. If I don't know where I want to live, I've got a slight problem. But you're going to give me a whole bunch of results. Okay? So now we start to personalize. What is personalization? Personalization is saying, what do I know about you? Stephen, I'm going to use you as an example. What do I know about you? Okay? And I know 3 ways I know something about you. It's what you do, it's what you say, and what else I can find out. Okay? We'll put all the GDPR stuff to one side because that's a whole layer of dampening down my enthusiasm of what this could be. So it's what you do on the site, how you engage. You dwell on this picture, you dwell on this sort of home, you whatever, you skip over that one, you don't even look at it. Well, I should be now determining what it is you're looking for, but you haven't told me. Then I'm going to ask you questions, right? What do you like? But now most sites don't then proactively start to ask you what you're looking for and building up that database about. And then there's, of course, what do we know about Stephen? Well, we can check him out on LinkedIn and Facebook and so on, so we can then start to work out, well, why are you looking at this $50 million house and you're working as a plumber, okay? Or whatever it is, right? There might be a disconnect in there. And then we can go, well, wait a second, the quality of the lead being generated is low because the capacity to complete is low, okay? Or vice versa. Some stuff that's happening, here's an example, like a dating app approach. Property Mate's doing this. Do you like this house? Do you not like this house? Thumbs up, yeah, I love it. Thumbs down, I don't. And through that scrolling, basically swiping left, swiping right approach, I'm building up a profile of you based on what you stop, you like, you don't like, and so on. AI chat, here's an example of an AI chatbots that pops up. List Assist is doing this. It's asking you, thanks very much, you're looking at this, what are you looking for? And then just trying to get you to engage. No different to using a buyer's agent, but it's just technology enabled. All these things are helping to personalize the results to learn more about you. Here's another example of then allowing you to personalize the results. One is, I personalize the results as the portal for you, and then now I've got to get you to interact with me. This is a company called PropTech, and this shows you quickly a quick video of what they do. Oh, it's only music, so I'll talk over the top. What's happening here is that they're allowing you to, on any listing, to interrogate the images. So here it's picking up one of the images at the top, and it says, what do you want to do with that? I want to renovate it, I want to refurnish it, I want to add some furniture. So in real time, on any image, on any portal out there, okay, you can now add furniture, subtract furniture, remodel it, so you get to visualize it as your home rather than the stale images that historically had been presented before. Okay? And it's doing it real time. And it's quite an interesting way to get better engagement. Now, if someone's going through this process, they're falling in love with the property, then going to, and they generate a lead, it's a better outcome. And these guys came and presented at the Madrid conference, and honestly, they're doing some really great work with companies such as Property Scout, Scout24 and so on. Okay? Discover. Well, tell me what I don't know. Help me find out something. So how am I going to tell you about properties in areas you don't know if I don't know anything about you? So companies like Search Smartly, well, what are they doing? Okay, well, let's go through a few screens first. What do you need? Some essentials, ideal commute time, what's important? Schools, cafes, bars, gyms, whatever. When do you want to move? Generate results. And then you get these sort of results. Okay, results in such a way that historically you wouldn't have thought about it. So this is England, or London, sorry, and it's right out to Southall out there, and there's 6 properties out there. And you probably, if you're thinking of being in Whitechapel, you would never have thought of Southall, but it fits the criteria. So it's forcing you or helping you discover places you never knew before. Okay, travel time. Is another great example. How far? Well, I'm happy to travel 30 minutes by train, by bike, whatever, what's available to me, and you get this sort of thing for Paris in Saint-Léger. Totally different again. Okay? A lot of places you may never have thought of living before. You can have interfaces. Here's an example of what Bayut's doing. Tell me, it's basically an AI-powered search assistant, and you're asking it questions. Ask me something about real estate. There was a question I put in here, show me top 3 areas to live in Dubai if I have kids under the age of 5. I've got no idea, but I'm going to go live in Dubai for whatever reason, because it's a hot place to go and live, and so on. It's the integration of these sort of products and services that allow you as a portal, as a marketplace, to do more than just give results. You're now standing side by side with the person searching and helping them on that search process. But I think then it goes further. It's got to go to tell. Okay? How do I then go to the way of saying, right, I know everything about Stephen. He's doing a search. Look, I'm going to save you time. If you want, by the way, if you want, and maybe this is more relevant for rentals, if you think about it. And it includes understanding pre-authorization for loans, pre-authorization for rentals, using whatever available information I've got about you. I'm going to tell you the properties that you should really look at. Because I'm your assistant, right? And this goes to the thing, Jonathan, I think you had as your example, where you wake up in the morning and you're told by your voice in the room, hey, there are 3 new properties that you should really look at. And that's really what this is getting. And then this is what's starting to emerge. Here's an example, Realist. In Dubai, this is for investment properties, so you can understand why telling for investment properties is an easier task to do. Very similar to Prop Street yesterday. It's almost a tell. Here are the 5 properties that you probably want to invest in. So based on your criteria, what's important to you, they basically say they identify the best 1% returns for an investment based on your requirements in Dubai. So they're telling you, don't waste your time with the other 99 properties, buy this one for every 100 properties. It makes sense. So a bit of a summary. Your market conditions are changing. Not all consumers are the same. We treat them as they're all vanilla. They're not. Give them a choice on how they engage and create more trust and higher value for all. And then monetization will naturally flow because you're creating more value for everyone in that cycle. But a bit more food for thought. Because I was then thinking about this, saying, well, maybe things are changing even further. If you think about everything today is focused on getting via search engines, brand marketing, apps, vertical search, whatever, to come to you. You're really driving everyone to an app, to engagement around your site. Because you can control that environment. It's that nice little walled garden approach. Okay? Worked wonderfully for America Online until it didn't. Okay? It's very hard to make that long-term work. Maybe it's a little bit different. Maybe it's all about saying, what does the brand mean? What does the brand Rightmove mean? And everywhere I see Rightmove, I know I can engage with the brand to get the right outcome. So it's about the brand going to you. And I was having a chat with Simon Bray yesterday from Canada, and we're talking about Nike, right? Imagine there's a Nike store, and all Nike's trying to do is get everyone to come to their store. No, what they're wanting you to do is engage with the Nike brand, whether it's in the Nike store, whether it's in Bloomingdale's or whatever the department store is, or even in the shoe store specialist. How do I engage with the brand? So if you flip the switch and you think, no, this is about a brand. What does the Rightmove brand stand for? What does the REA brand stand for? What does the Property Guru brand stand for? Okay, and it should be trustworthy, reliable, comprehensive, etc. And by the way, you can consume the brand anywhere, on WhatsApp. I don't want to go to a bloody website. I don't want to go to the app. I want to go to WhatsApp and engage. Thank you very much. I want to engage with you on Instagram or Facebook or wherever. Allow me to engage with you where it's important to me. And I think there's absolutely something in that thought. Because if you do that right, and it does become all about brand, then the co-stars coming in and pouring in a chunk of money into a market will be irrelevant, because the brand of Rightmove will just keep riding on. Because if you built that strong, defensible brand, everything that then flows from it creates value. Value for the shareholders, value clearly for the employees in the company, and value for all the customers they interact with. Anyway, I hope that was an interesting sort of journey from search to tell. And if you have any questions, we can take them for a couple of minutes. Are there any questions? Yeah? Oh, good, thank you. Okay. Yes, Ed. Human beings love searching through property listings. We also don't like talking to machines. Why rock the boat and change search? The answer is yes and no. A lot of people love to search through listings. Okay? Absolutely. But others don't. And remember, this is not about trying to make everyone vanilla. It's about allowing everyone to do it the way they want to do it, so you get the best outcome, the happiest person who engages with the product. And it's also situation dependent. If I'm looking to buy my very first home and I'm about to spend every single penny I've ever saved and I'm 30, 35, whatever the age is, you are going to search through every single property known to mankind, right? Because that's the biggest thing you've ever done. If you are an investor and you've got 20 properties, different. Make my time faster, more efficient. If you are a renter going to live in a city for a year for work, you're not that engaged with the outcome. Yeah, you want a nice place in a good area. You maybe don't know as much about the area. Do the telling, help me out. So I think the answer is horses for courses. Okay? Is finding a property to live in too important to users who want to be told? Same question, right? I wonder if there's an element of enjoyment. Yes, there is clearly enjoyment, but also the role of the marketplace is to drive high quality convertible leads to the advertiser. Problem is, 100 leads are going to an advertiser today. 50, 60% are tire kickers. People are just asking questions and they're never going to buy that property. And they're wasting the time. So how you engage also helps me qualify the lead better and give guidance to the person at the other end that they should invest their time on that lead versus other leads. Is there a future in which portals lose the organic traffic they rely on? I am not going to answer that question, because I'm going to leave that up to our next guest, who's coming up now, Mike van der Heijden, who is going to talk to us about search. Sorry, this is a nice seamless way to actually introduce Mike. So thank you, Peter, for that. So thank you very much. And Mike,